Hey everybody, back with another video. I was looking for some inspiration on what to film and just wandering around the basement and stuff, and watching some YouTube arcade stuff. None better than John at John's Arcade on the Nintendo Versus stuff. There's also a guy named Luke Morse that also posts videos, and I think he has a good Nintendo overview as well. So I'm not going to spend too much time on that. What we're doing is I have a bunch of Nintendo Versus boards from the arcade buffet to test and verify. Actually, this one says side 1 100%, side 2 untested. Now, when I've linked, or I'll link to some videos probably, or maybe down below, some videos I did on Nintendo Versus fixing some colors and stuff like that, and I had a different adapter setup, but PCB Junkie makes this adapter, this JAMA to Nintendo Versus adapter, which is really nice, and you can switch with jumpers, master and slave. There's two sides to the Nintendo Versus board. Obviously, you can watch the other videos that I'll link to kind of go in more detail, but this side, which is I think 7 and 8, the ROMs in 7 and 8 section is the slave side, and 1 and 2 is the master slide. When you put it, why am my hands doing this? Maybe because I watch John and Luke. They're like constantly with their hands. But so you have the slave side is what the upright Nintendo Unisystem uses, Nintendo Versus Unisystem, and you can use both the master and the slave side if you're in a red tent. I do have a red tent project, but maybe I'll get motivated after working on these boards. So, all right, so let's see, what are we going to do first? I want to test these boards. This is my board, and I know it works. We'll plug it in first just to verify, and it is a MDS04 CPU board, and this one, and you can see the serial number too, 57458 is an MDS05. It does look like it has a working CPU, but there's no PPU. I think that's like picture processing unit, PPU, picture processing unit, something like that. And then CPU is obviously a CPU. So you have some memory, some ROMs that need to go in here, and the same if you want to test the other side. So we are going to use my golf ROM sets in this board. The one thing is the edge connector does not look great. I might clean that up first. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm going to clean that up before I power it on. But we'll power on my board first, and then I'll clean that edge connector off. Then we'll move the ROMs over, test the board, test side 2, test side the slave side first, then the master master side, and then if we find any troubles, we'll troubleshoot them here. All right, there you go. My board's hooked up with the adapter. Got my PVM on. Go ahead and power it up. Colors look good. So everything looks good. So that's our test right there. Control, that's our control right there. Alright, so I cleaned up the edge connector really quick and put my PPU in, my ROMs in, make sure they're all there. These two, I think these 3 sockets were replaced, if I'm not mistaken. You can't really see because there's tape over there. Can you tell? Maybe. Alright, so let's power this thing on. Ah, that looks different. Or maybe because I had the dip switches set differently. Alright. Or maybe something else is going on. Yeah, I had the... Let me get the dip switches set the same. Alright, got the dip switches there so I can have the same expectations. There's the screen. I would say it looks good. Now, one of the things I've shown in my other videos is this side of the color adjustments control the slave. This one controls the master over here. But if just to test to make sure the colors are working, if I turn the red all the way up, you'll see red lines. So you know it's kind of working, and then I just adjust it to the minimum. And I did that for all of them, so I would say this side is working. Okay, have all the chips back into the master side, which is 1 and 2, if you can see that there. Have my dip switches, or my jumpers on the adapter changed over. Power it on. And looks good. I'm on free play because this I think dip switch controls this side of the board. This dip switch here controls the other side. So slave, master. Looks fine. I don't have all my controls wired up, so I'm not going to be able to hit the ball or play, but I would say this board's working, so very uneventful. Let's go look at another board. Alright, another board on here. This one is serial number 47824, and on the secondary side, this looks really bad right there. That socket at 6A. 6A socket looks bad. On the bottom it says side 1 tested working, need to test side 2. So again, Unisystem side 1 is on the B side, or slave, and then the master slide is down here. So we'll go ahead and put the chips in on this side. I'll probably test it. I'm going to replace that socket and test the other side too. The other thing is the card edge looks pretty bad. Like, look, there's a big gouge right there. Needs to be cleaned up. So I'm going to clean that up before I put it on. Looks like there's some solder right there. There's also, looks like a scrape right there. You can see that right there. I don't know if that's doing any damage or not. Otherwise, it looks pretty original. Alright, have everything in, I think, the right way. And I did replace that right there and clean up the edge connector. Came out pretty good. Let's go ahead and power it on. I think it looks okay. I think so. Oh, okay. I was about to say, I was like, am I missing sprites? It's kind of crazy. Oh, why can't I move? Well, that's interesting. I'm moving my joystick. I should be able to at least move the club around. Maybe, I wonder if there's an input issue. I'll come back and see. I have to verify. Alright, it seems like I had to... maybe I hit player 2 start or something crazy. Because now it's working. That's all I can do. But it looks okay, I think. I'm going to go ahead and put them in the other side just to verify. I have to switch my dip switches all over. Alright, have everything on the slave side. And it's working fine. This is going to be the most boring video ever. Nothing exciting happening here. Alright, board number 4. 33926. This one already had some chips in it. It does look like it was golf. I don't know, the heat sinks off, but I think it's golf. And dip switches are not how I had them. Basically it says side 1 is 100%, side 2 untested, needs 1 sound chip LM3900, but I see that there's actually 2 3900s actually already been replaced, so not sure about that. So let me hook it up and we'll see what we get. Here we go. Ooh, that looks messy. So much for side 1 being 100%. Maybe check the dip switches. I don't know. I think I had them all off just to see. This bank I think goes with this side. This goes with the secondary side or slave. Yeah, something ain't right there. It does not like that. Let's try my chips. Alright, I swapped the CPU, the PPU, these 3 chips, and then when I got to the first chip, 6A, it booted. So let me try this chip back in there and see if it was just reseating it as an issue. Otherwise, I'm going to have to burn that ROM probably again. Alright, 6A back in. That works, so it was probably just reseating it was the only issue. I'm going to put the other PPU and CPU back in there and his ROMs and then try it again. Might have just been this one chip that needed to be reseated. Alright, all the original chips are in. Still have it strapped to the slave, which is 7 and 8 side. Excuse me. I did swap the 3900s just to make sure the audio works. So powering up that side. Looks good now. So everything looks good. Alright, but I think we do have a problem on this side. So let me swap the dip switches here, or the jumpers I mean, and we'll power on the primary or master side. 1 and 2. Alright, here we go. Strapped for the master side. Of course, it works now. Or no, did I just put it back on this? No, I'm an idiot. I put it back on the slave side. Duh. Now I have it jumpered on the master side. And we get a white screen. That's all we get. So not sure where to even start. I have to go back and look at some of my old videos or see what I can troubleshoot. But obviously this is not a normal CPU, so I can't put the cat box on it. I can't put my fluke on it. It's probably reading to memory. I don't know if there's a test ROM or any type of test options on this thing. So let me try to find out. Alright, I got it working. I tried to clean up these legs with a fiberglass pencil a little bit. I haven't done the Dremel yet. But I believe I've done some reading, and yes, this is the RP2A03 is based off of a 6502, but I think it has different pinouts. So unless you build an adapter, maybe you can build an adapter that is enough to read and write to memory, which would be interesting. Honestly, just do enough with the address lines and data bus potentially to actually emulate, get the fluke to do 6502 stuff, but the IO stuff wouldn't work very well. But anyway, I figured I got it working just by reseating and cleaning the CPU. So let's power it up without the CPU in it, and that's what you get, a white screen. So I figured I'd just do some symptoms real quick. Put the CPU back in. We'll remove the PPU. Right, CPU in. And it's working. so everything's working there. All right, let's take out the PPU. All right, PPU is out. See what happens. Black screen. So you get a black screen, if you see there, with the PPU out, and a white screen with the CPU out. So that could help you with a clue or something like that. Let's take one of the ROMs out. I'm going to take out the first ROM. I don't know if that's what it's reading, but let's do that. Put the PPU back in, take out the first ROM, and record that symptom real quick. All right, one ROM out, PPU's back in. Make sure your orientation is good. And we get a white screen. So it's not like actually running any instruction code. So with the CPU in, it might actually be reading the ROMs, but just not outputting any display, because that's coming out of the PPU to go into the graphics area. But I was going to do like check clock and all that stuff, but doing the simple things, a lot of times these sockets end up losing tension on the pins, or they're corroded because they've been exposed, or they're oxidized. So cleaning the chip legs, cleaning the sockets, making sure you have good connectivity is first and foremost. Otherwise, I think it's just memory, basically memory and ROMs, I mean, for the most part, and then the PPU does most of the magic and the built-in stuff into the RP2A03, which I think is the same CPU that's in NES systems, consoles. All right, this is board, I think, number 5, right? Edge connector doesn't look too bad, actually. I'm not going to bother cleaning it. The tape right there is not coming far enough up. Excuse me, dang, hiccup. Says side 1 tested working, need to test side 2. So I bet this is going to be uneventful, guys. But I did go ahead and just clean the sockets with some alcohol and a toothbrush real quick, and then trying to blow it out. Just make sure it's dry. But I'm sure that's going to be fine. And we'll test the primary side, which should be side 2. Which is the master, which you see over here. Jumpers on the left. Alright, let's power it on. Hopefully, yep, everything's in the right orientation. And we got golf. I don't know how to coin up. Or if, okay. Alright, let's power off. Hit my jumpers all to off. That way I know I'm in free play. There we go. Let's do our start. Colors look good. Can make some controls. Now, I do like to come in, I think, which one's primary? This one? No. Turn it all the way to the red just to make sure the color adjusters are working. And this is interesting because this one has different kind for the red than the green. There's my green. And then what I do is I turn it all the way clockwise, and that will be, you'll see the lines, and then I go all the way counterclockwise, and then just a little bit. I know it's supposedly factory set. There's no rhyme or reason to this stuff. But I just want to get them all set relatively the same. So all the way counterclockwise, and then I just go vertical. I don't know if you can even see that, where the line is completely 90 degrees, I guess, or vertical. This one's a little bit different. like that. Alright, I think that's it. I don't know if I have any more. If I do, I'll come back. If not, that's it for this video. Uneventful, but I learned just like maybe 2 minor things about it, about the board set. The CPU here has a 6502 core in it, but it also has some other stuff. Nintendo patented that. They also have this patent on the PPU, which is basically security, kind of color decoding and stuff like that. And then you have your ROMs. This adapter here from PCB Junkie is awesome. It allows us to easily test both sides of the board. In the red tent, obviously one monitor would be on one side, game, and then the other monitor would be on the other side. But in a unit system, it's just the slave side. I got that from somebody on Clove as well.